Great. Thank you everyone for joining us today for Space Age Business Operations powered by QuickBooks Online. My name is Kathy Iconis. I am the CEO of Iconis Group. We are an outsourced accounting firm or bookkeeping firm based in Atlanta. I am advanced certified in QuickBooks Online, the founder of QBO Chat, and the 5-time recipient of CPA Practice Advisors 40 Under 40. Let me spend a second to talk about QBO Chat since they are the ones that are sponsoring today's webinar. QBO Chat started around 3 years ago now. It started as a weekly tweet chat. So yes, there are several of us on Twitter that spend time, an hour each week, talking about QuickBooks Online and running a business. And you can find us using the hashtag QBO Chat. Each week, every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. This week's topic is actually going to be learning about business valuations. So it's not always specific to QuickBooks Online. Our audience is made up of accountants, developers, small businesses, and Intuit employees. Everyone that is involved in the QuickBooks Online ecosystem is welcome to join the chat every week. Topics relate to using QuickBooks Online. We also deep dive into different applications to show you different products that are available out there. And we also have topics on business advice for small businesses. Earlier this year, we expanded QBO Chat into a website. So now you can go to qbochat.com and you can see that our transcripts and recaps of recent tweet chats are up on the website. So we try to make it easy for you if you cannot attend the tweet chat or you don't want to hang out with a whole bunch of us dorks that love QuickBooks Online and tweet about it every Thursday. We also have video tutorials up there. We have blogs from sponsors and other experts about their industries, how they help out accountants, how they help small businesses, and a wider range of things. And we also have webinars that we do just like the one that we're presenting today. So let's get going with the agenda. So space age business operations for your business. Today we're going to talk about why do you need what I call a space station, and why is QuickBooks Online, I use QBO for short, why is QBO a good platform for your business? I'm going to show you QuickBooks Online, give you an introduction to it. We're going to go through some of the navigation for it. We'll discuss how you can expand the QBO platform, and then I'll finish up with some Q&A. Just so you guys know, I am the only one heading up today's webinar, so I'm not actually able to answer questions or keep track of questions while I'm talking. I'm not that talented. So, but please do feel free to enter your questions into the question screen on the monitor. I'll keep an eye on them, but also I will take some pauses here and there, and mostly at the end, and try to answer questions for you guys. And if we have any extra time, I can jump into QuickBooks Online, answer any specific questions that anyone has. But the overall presentation is mostly we're going to do some screenshots and looking at the navigation of the system. So why do you need a space station? So pull this from NASA's website. I know some of you might be a little bit more familiar with a space station than I am. I am not a space geek, so I don't know too much about this. But the concept that I'm trying to make a parallel between the space station and how a business operates. And so the space station has many parts. Each part's called a module. And when they started the space station, they got the first modules up there, just the very basic that they needed to work. And then they added upon it. And basically, it's become a home in space for all these scientists. And so you have this lab up there. So think about what kind of platform, what kind of space station you have in your business. So when you start your business, you create your own systems and processes, and you have your first little modules that you put together just to make it work. And then as things go on, you understand your business, you can add on more things to it so that you can have more complexities, more controls in your business, several different things. So think of, while you're developing your business, how you can use this space station approach to streamline your operations. And I prefer QuickBooks Online, and I'll tell you why, as basically your platform for the space station that you're creating. There's a ton of different accounting programs out there. There's QuickBooks Desktop, there's QuickBooks Online, there's other cloud programs. I like QuickBooks Online. I've been using it in my practice, and I've been using it for my clients for 6 years now. And I still believe that it's, the best in class accounting system for small businesses. It is a great tool, and it has the usability features make it very easy for any business owner to be able to get into it and start working. So here's some of the great features about QuickBooks Online. You can stay in sync with your bank. You can track your expenses. You can send professional invoices out of it. You can access it on multiple devices. That means you can access it through your tablet, through your phone, or through the computer. You can work together wherever. So not only can you access QuickBooks Online from wherever, you can work together collaboratively with other people. Excuse my mishaps on my speaking today. Yeah, it's been a long day. So, but let's talk about working together. So, like I said before, I'm CEO of an outsourced bookkeeping firm. And what we do is we provide bookkeeping for our clients. We contract with them to be able to do certain tasks each month for them and help them run their business better, organize things, and just get everything going smoothly. The great thing about QuickBooks Online is that our clients can get into the system and they can do what they need to do whenever they want to, and we can get in and do whatever we need to do whenever we need to. So there's, legacy accountants would use QuickBooks Desktop in the past. And a lot of the issues with that were, okay, we have a file on this computer. How do we get this file over to this other computer? How do we update it? When do we send it back? All this sort of stuff. Well, this has all gone away when we've gone to QuickBooks Online. So we're able to access the system together. We can collaborate on it. You can have different users in your business accessing QuickBooks Online, doing different things in there, and it all works together and as a whole versus these little pieces that you kind of cut and pasting, kind of going from one person to the next to the next. We can all do it at the same time. Another great thing about QuickBooks Online is that it has a great reporting tools in there. You can see a lot of graphs in the different modules of what's going on in your business. You can get reports, just your basic P&L, your balance sheet. You can customize reports in there and get a great snapshot of what's going on in your business. Then the biggest key here is when you're creating a platform, we can connect it to other tools. So you can connect apps to QuickBooks Online, and what that means is that there's third-party applications out there. People have created these products that that take care of a problem that a business is having, and it connects in with QuickBooks Online. So QuickBooks Online, they say, has an open API. Basically, they've created the coding and infrastructure in there so that other businesses can come in and link up to it and transfer data back and forth as they need, as they create their own product, that third party. And it creates a very tight integration between the two products. And think of that as, in space, you have to have that tight integration between a new module and the platform of the space station. So that's the same thing that's happening here. What is an ideal QuickBooks Online customer? Back to, I'll make the comparison to desktop. A lot of people in the past, you had the recommendations of, well, you have to buy this version of desktop because you have so much revenue, or your file size is so large, so you need to upgrade to the next level. Or if you have too many transactions in your account, you need to upgrade it. This has all gone away with QuickBooks Online. There's no limitations in these areas at all. A lot of people sometimes ask, like, how many banks can I connect to QuickBooks Online? And there's no limit. The only thing that will happen is when you get into, huge numbers, it might slow down the performance of your subscription, but other than that, there's no limit on to what you can do. Limitations come in different forms. They say no limit to the sizes, but some features are not available in QuickBooks Online. For example, we don't have progress invoicing, and this relates to construction contractors that bill on a percent complete status. They do so through a progress invoice, and we don't have that feature in QuickBooks Online. We also don't have advanced inventory within QuickBooks Online, but we do have some basic inventory modules in there and functionality. Now, the other limitation is each subscription to QuickBooks Online really should be connected to one employer identification number. So that way we're making sure that one EIN is created to one QuickBooks Online file, and so you have to pay for each business that you have subscribed to QuickBooks Online. Detailed user rights. You have ability to limit some of the functionality to users. You can set up time only in users, so you can set up unlimited time only, which means they do time tracking. You have unlimited report only users, so they can just view reports and they can't access or change any of the data underneath it. But then you also have the users that go in and change the transactions and create transactions and that sort of thing. You have some ability to limit their rights, but you don't have detailed changes that you can make in there. So, for example, I can set someone up as an accounts receivable user, so they would be able to see invoicing, customers, and this sort of thing, or I can set them up as an accounts payable user. But I can't go in and say, oh, well, they can only see so many customers, or they can only see this or that. I can't go into that much detail in the user rights. Now, when we have these limitations, a lot of these limitations can be solved with third-party apps, and that's, going back to this platform analysis or comparison, I'm saying we have this great platform, and we can add in these apps that will help solve different problems. And a lot of these limitations can be solved in that way. For example, advanced inventory, there is a great app out there called SOS Inventory that has all the bells and whistles that you'll ever need, and you can integrate that with QuickBooks Online. And so there's no concern anymore about not having advanced inventory within QuickBooks Online. So let's talk about the different subscription levels to QBO. So these are the prices as of this month. Currently, the Simple Start is $13, Essentials $27, and Plus is $40. And you'll see that we have the different users available in each and the amount of reports. Basically, Simple Start is going to be the very bare bones basic program in there. And then we kind of increase what you can do in each program. And because we're increasing what we can do, it also increases the ability of getting reporting off of that. So that's why you'll see the different levels and reports. You can always add on payroll to any of these solutions. You'll also see that online you're going to find coupons and deals off of these prices at all times. Pay attention to how long the deals last. Sometimes you see 6 months or 12 months. If you are working with a pro advisor that is also using QuickBooks Online Accountant, they can provide you with discounted pricing. Another person or group to go after is to find an Intuit reseller. They can also give you discounted pricing, and sometimes it's for an even longer period of time than what you can find online. So, oh, and the other thing I wanted to note here is that you can never downgrade your account. You can only upgrade. So if you're looking to start on QuickBooks Online, I would recommend starting out at the lowest level you think you'll need in your business, and then you can upgrade from there. You can always get a 30-day free trial with QuickBooks Online. You just go to the website, sign up. I don't think you even need a credit card for that. So let's get into some of the navigation of QuickBooks Online. This is what it looks like. This is your home page right here. I'll call out this top area. This is your Quick Create bar. And you'll see there are 3 icons right here. On the left is a search button. If you click that, you can search transactions in your account. The middle is the plus sign, which means you are going to create something, and it will let you create anything that you need within QBO, any transaction. On the right is a little clock icon, and that clock means represents recent transactions. When you click on that, you can quickly see your most recent transactions that you are in, and you can go back to them in case you made any errors. So if we look at the Quick Create, here I'm showing that it's been clicked. You can see all the things that you can create in here. You have your customers, your vendors, employees, and other. And that replicates the same kind of listing that you see on the left of your screen, which here is your module listing. You'll see you have customers, vendors, employees, transactions, reports, taxes, and apps. And then to the right of your home page, you'll see this bank account widget. And like I said before, one of the great things about QuickBooks Online is how you can connect your banks to QuickBooks Online. It's a direct feed. QuickBooks Online pulls the transactions from your bank, and it sits it in a holding area, and then you're able to process those transactions and add them or match them into QuickBooks Online. In this example, you'll see that let me get the pin up here. So you'll see, let's look at checking right here. We have the bank balance is negative 3,000. You'll see what's listed in QuickBooks, and then over here you see a number of 25. So bank balance is actually what has been reported from the bank, which is interesting since it's negative 3,000. But this is a demo account that I took screenshots off of it, so I don't think it's realistic. Then you see what's in QuickBooks. We have $1,200, and this 25 means there's 25 transactions that have come from the bank but have not been entered into QuickBooks Online yet. So you can always click on any of these, and it'll pull you over to the bank area. I'll show you that in a minute, so you can process those transactions. What you'll notice down here is that this Visa is not connected to a bank, so all you see is what is in QuickBooks right here. You have the option to connect another account right here, but you can also do that in the banking area. So, and then company settings up here is the gear icon. This will be any place within that you kind of customize the database. Know that QuickBooks Online, it is a database, so it's a whole bunch of tables and put together and data put together, and it's how you customize that to fit your business. It's very important when you set that up. You have features on, so you can call your customers different names like clients or donors or something like that. Very simple customizations. Or you can set up customizations where saying, okay, I want to track billable time per customer. There's a ton of different features in here, and it's something I recommend you do, you spend some time looking at when you set up your account at the beginning. Next on the home page is your money bar. And you'll see that within QuickBooks Online, we set that you'll see this kind of bar several times, and it represents different things in different areas. But the theory is that we're tracking money from the beginning of the flow to the end of the flow. So we'll start here with open invoices. Let's go back. Open invoices right here. Then you'll see out of those open invoices what's overdue, and then you'll see what has been paid in the last 30 days. So now I've moved on to the banking page. So I've clicked on transactions and banking. And you'll see here are the 3 accounts that we have connected to the bank. And you'll see the bank balance and what's in QuickBooks. You'll also see the number of transactions. The transactions for this MasterCard are listed down here. When you click on any of these transactions, you have the option to add, match, or transfer the transaction. You'll see that, so Bob's Burger, it is automatically trying to match up the transaction to something that's already been entered into the system. And so you'll see this green match button right here. Above that, you see Squeaky Clean Cars. We have a gray match. That means there's multiple potential matches within QuickBooks Online, and you'll want to click on that to see what the options are to find the best solution to what to match in there. And then you'll see up here Laura's Lamination. What's happening is it didn't find a match at all. So you can, if you clicked on that transaction, you would be able to enter in what account it should be coded to and the information and add it directly from this screen. When you're looking at the banking page, you want to always update your accounts. Like I said, there's a direct feed between your bank account and QuickBooks Online. They go in periodically and update the transactions. Sometimes it's every day, sometimes it's every week. Sometimes things get a little funky and they don't update for a little while or something like that. So I always recommend before you go in to process any of the transactions in this area, to click on the update button. So it'll go out to the bank right then, pull in any transactions, and let you know if there's any errors or issues with your connection. You can also add the new accounts right here. Now let's jump over to the customer screen. So here I want to show you that we have the money bar again. It's back, and that's where I'm saying you're going to see this over and over again. So this concept of money flow from very beginning to ending cash has been expanded in this instance. So we have, let me get my little pen again, we have your estimates, then your unbilled activity, then we're showing the open invoices and overdue invoices again, and what's been paid. If you click on any of these colors, it will filter this table below to show you the customers that have that. So if I were to click on the 750, it would show me any customers that have any unbilled activity right here in the already filtered for me. Now I've popped into a customer, their detail page, and so we have Amy's Bird Sanctuary right here. We have her information. And to the right you see that she has $239 open, and of that there's $239 overdue. So, and down here we have options to do batch actions to here, but also I think more importantly, you have an option to filter this list. So we can look at just invoices, just payments, just certain specific things in here. You also have, gives you a great view of, okay, we have a time charge in here and that's open. And so we haven't billed this customer for this time charge, and you're able to right there start the invoice. You have this invoice and it's been paid. This one down here, this is one that is overdue, and we have a balance. So the total was $459, but they still owe $239. If you get that payment, you have a quick button right here to receive the payment. Now, let's jump over to the vendor screen. It looks very similar to the customer screen. We're following that money again. We start with the purchase order over here. We have our open bills or overdue bills, and then what's been paid in the last 30 days. If I jump into the vendor detail page, you can see their information. You can see this one, we have an open bill to them for $241, and it is actually overdue. Another thing I want to mention is that in all of these tables within QuickBooks Online, you have options. So if you click the icon, the gear icon within the table, which is different from the gear icon up here. So the one up on top, I'll go back and highlight that. The one up here, remember, is your company settings. This one goes and applies to this table. So you have the option in all of these tables to add or remove different columns that you want to see. So you can customize a view that's works best for you. And they call this sticky. So what happens is you got those little cookies behind the scene that tracks how you want to show this information, or that you're this specific user. And so when you come back to this screen, it should remember which columns you have selected or deselected in here. So you can just keep on moving on and don't have to customize this each and every time in here. Next is the reports area. Again, what I was saying, great way to be able to understand what is going on in your business. You have options. They've broken us down. So we have recommended, frequently run, my custom reports, management reports, and all reports. So in the recommended reports, we have the profit and loss. We have the balance sheet. We also have this great little company snapshot. This gives you a visual view of your business compared to the prior year, and you're able to split that out by month or by quarter, and you can see a little bar graph of how you're comparing over the prior year. Again, QuickBooks Online, those little cookies behind the scenes, it'll know what you run frequently within your file, so you can always click on frequently run. It'll remember those reports. You can customize reports and save them so that you can come back to them later. You have management reports, which basically puts together a package of several reports and lets you create it into a fancy PDF. And then if all else fails, you have all reports. And when you go to all reports, it kind of breaks down the different types of reports, and you can drill into which reports you want to see. So here's an example of the profit and loss statement. We have this one listed as year-to-date, so you can see from January through August. And if you wanted to, at any point in time, you can customize this report. And then once you do that, you can save your customization. So you can come back to it over and over again. So for users, the Plus users that have the ability to track transactions per client, you can go in and customize your P&L by customer. So you can say, show me the profit and loss by Amy's Bird Services, that customer we were looking at before. And it would show only the transactions that relate to that customer. So you can see the revenue and expenses that are related to that. And it's a great way. I use that for job costing with my clients. So it helps see where you're profitable and where you're not. The other thing to point out on all of these reports is that if you click on any of the numbers, it will let you drill down into transaction reports, so you can see what makes up this $2,250. And if you have any issue with any of those, you can even click on one of those and it'll open up the actual transaction for you to view. So let's look at a transaction. So this is an example of an invoice in here. So let's show you what all's going on. We have Amy's Bird Sanctuary, listed here, you see that it's going to be emailed to birds@intuit.com if you email this invoice. You have the billing address, the invoice date, and the due date. Then we have our product services in here. So she's going to be charged for weekly gardening services, 4 times at $25. We have it listed so it's taxable. You have that option to set up sales tax on your transactions. Uh, we can set up different tax codes. So this one is California at 8%. This is all something you customize when you set up QuickBooks Online. And here we have this option. We see that there's billable time of $375. So what I was talking about before of being able to add billable time to an invoice or being able to track time by customer, here what happens is within the time tracking area, you have the option to say, hey, this time applies to Amy's Bird Sanctuary. I want this to be billable. So I've entered that in the time entry, and all I have to do is press this add button, and it will pull the information right over into the invoice so I don't have to re-enter that data. Now up here, I want to note that you can see that there is one payment that's been made on here. It's a blue text, so that means we can click on it and we can see the payment, and then you also have the option to actually go and click on the payment to open up the payment and see the details there. Another thing to point out is at the bottom of your screen, we have the print or preview, so we can see what this invoice actually looks like versus what the screen they're showing us here. We can make this recurring. So if we have weekly gardening service and we want to do this, we want to invoice them every month, we can set that up as a recurring invoice to go out to them. We can customize the invoice from here. So look and feel, we can change that around. If you want to add a logo, change the colors on the invoice, you can do all of that. And then you have the More button, which lets you look at the audit trail of that, which means you can see every time the transaction's been changed in QuickBooks Online, and you can see which user changed the transaction. So it's a great tool for accountants. We can go in and research changes and see what happened if a number is different later on or something like that. You can also copy the invoice or void the invoice from the More area. So let's go on to the other transaction I wanted to show you, which is bills. Again, a very similar screen. We have the vendor listed here. We set up the bill date, the due date, the account that the transaction is being coded to. We have the same thing here. We have make recurring and more, which has some of the features I was just talking about. And at the top here, we can make the payment. So this one, for example, does not have a payment already applied to it. So this is that open invoice or open bill that's out there. So let's get to one of my favorite areas here, and it's all about expanding that space station, the QBO platform, and talking about third-party apps and how do we use third-party apps and where do we find them and all that sort of stuff. So how to find an app. My recommendation is to go to apps.com. And apps.com, you'll see this is the home screen here. Apps.com is owned and maintained by Intuit, who creates QuickBooks. And all the apps that are listed on apps.com have gone through Intuit's very detailed review process to make sure they have the right security, the right infrastructure, that they're able to support clients, all the great functionality, all this sort of stuff in their apps. Intuit's done all of that before an app can even get on to apps.com. So it's great. This is the first place I go to see what apps are out there to help solve a problem. And when you look at the website, you see here that we have, we can connect apps recommended by business type. We have that. We also have this browse by category drop down. And when I pull that up, you can see all the different categories we have in here. So um, they have hundreds of apps on apps.com, and they all integrate with QuickBooks Online. You don't have to worry about if they do or don't. They all integrate. And it's a great place to go and find what you need, what problem you're trying to solve. Now, I'll show you, this is an example of Expensify, which is an app on apps.com. They create expense reports for you. They have it's a great tool. If you haven't seen it, you should check it out. But let's look at what each of the apps, their screens look like. So we have, the name of the app right here. We have these 4 different screens. So you'll have about, the reviews, their pricing, and their support. And on the About page, you're going to have a video, a short video, or some text here to explain what does the app do, what problem is it solving. And then you can see the reviews. And up here to the right, you'll see that this one, for example, has 167 reviews, and we have 5 stars, an average of 5 stars across all those reviews. So that tells me that people are having a good experience with this app, and it's something that's worthwhile trying out. You'll also, on pricing, most of these apps have free trials. Some are 30 days, some are a little less than that, but they should show you all that information on the pricing page. Support is another thing that you want to find out with all these apps, because just like with any new system that you're setting up, you want to understand how does it integrate, how does it work, but also if I have any problems, is there someone I can talk to? And so a lot of these apps have spent a lot of time figuring out how to onboard new customers. So you might get emails at the beginning to show you how to get all set up and that sort of thing. So, but you also want to know, do you need to pay for support? Is it, can I call someone, or is it just live chatting with someone? How does all of this work? Before I move on to the next area, the other thing I want to say is, while apps.com is great, that doesn't, if you're not on apps.com, it is not necessarily a bad thing. It just means that the company hasn't gone through the process with Intuit to end up on apps.com. So there's a ton of other resources out there. I'm thinking the Google Apps Marketplace has a ton of apps. You can find, go to getapp.com. It has a lot of apps on there, reviews by customers. And then you can just do Google searches. Some apps do connect with QuickBooks Online that are not up on apps.com. I would do your due diligence, look at the app, see how it's connecting with it, ask around, try to, see if there's reviews on other websites or something like that if they're not connected, if they're not on apps.com, because you want to make sure that it's still a secure and reputable app. So with QBO Chat, we actually have several sponsors that happen to be some of the best apps out there. And so I wanted to spend like a minute or two just talking about those apps. Here, the first one I showed you, Expensify, that was my example. They have an expense reporting app. It is a great tool. It integrates with QuickBooks Online and several other accounting systems. It also integrates, let's go back, it integrates with Bill.com too. And what they do is that they have feeds to the user's credit cards. You can pull in transactions. You can have smart scan of your receipts, so it'll pull the details off of your receipts for you and enter that information to an expense report. You can set up different approval processes, so you can have reports go to an approver first and then be submitted for payment. Several different options that are available there. T-Sheets is another app. Is They do time tracking. So I talked about how QuickBooks Online has free unlimited time entry users. They do, but the functionality is a little bit limited in there. So you're not able to approve time. You can make changes after the fact. Um, there some different other things, but within T-Sheets you have I I talk about bells and whistles. They have a ton of bells and whistles. You can do GPS tracking on your employees. You can they they can clock in and out through tweets. There's a ton of different features in there. But they also help with the approval process. They add more structure and control to the whole time tracking system. Avalara, they make sales tax less taxing. Um, as you all know, sales tax is uh, a huge burden on a ton of businesses, and understanding the rules and regulations of all the different locations that you're selling your products to can be um, mind-boggling. So Avalara makes it really simple for you. They integrate with different systems. They're able to figure out what the sales tax needs to be. They're also able to do the sales tax reporting for you. So definitely helping small businesses succeed by making sales tax less of an issue. Fundera is an app that actually you can use to get funding for your business. So they connect you with different lenders, and they have a platform where you can connect and try to find a loan, a line of credit, several different types of funding for your business. And they help guide you through the whole process. They use some of your information in QuickBooks Online. It integrates with that, but they're also there to help you get the funding that you need for your business. Now, Fundera and Funding Gates, while the similar names are different, two different products. Funding Gates actually, they help small businesses that have a problem collecting on their invoices. And usually it's if you have 100 or more invoices going out each month, they are there to help you with that process. And what they do is they organize all those invoices into a really easy format. You have a different login. So if you want to give someone just access to Funding Gates, you can. They don't have to access QuickBooks Online. They can see everything that's open. They can we can contact customers directly through Funding Gates. They have a lot of templates set up on how to contact customers, what letters to use. You have options of like a friendly reminder, stern reminder, that sort of thing. And I've used it before, and interestingly enough, when I use Funding Gates and send out the emails to customers, I get paid faster on those than if I were just to send a email reminder to someone. For some reason, it just looks more professional and more intriguing, and yeah, more serious, I guess, and so people just pay them. You're also able to send invoices over to collections if you need to. Uh, Tons of features there. So that is what I have for my presentation. Now is the time for questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to post those into the questions screen. I can go in and do any live demo or anything like that we want. One thing I want to say before I get into that is getting started with QuickBooks Online, like what are your next steps? If you haven't done it, sign up for an account. Like I said, you can get a 30-day free trial and just test it out, see how it all works. Then you want to customize QuickBooks Online to your needs. You want to look in that settings area and look at it's a lot of check boxes and radio buttons of saying, okay, yes, I want to do this. No, I want to do that. Then connect your bank accounts and then find and connect any apps that'll help you grow your business and grow your operating system. And then set up your bookkeeping process and stick with it. That's always a big thing for small businesses is have this process and keep repeating it every month or every week or whenever, whatever your schedule is, and keep on top of that. And of course, we can always help you get out with any of those things at Iconis Group. Like I said, we're an outsourced bookkeeping firm. We specialize in QuickBooks Online. We only take clients that are on QuickBooks Online. So we can help you with any of these issues. So let me pop out of here and see if I have any questions. Look, I have no questions from the audience. Wow. Is that possible? I think it is possible. Well, since we don't have any questions, then I will wrap up early. One other thing I think I was going to show you guys. Let me look at me. I'm still trying to figure out how to use a Mac several years later. Um, if you aren't ready to sign up for a free trial, you can always do a Google search of QuickBooks test drive. So, and then the first thing you'll see is QuickBooks Online test drive. You're able to go into a sample company. And this is where I got most of my screenshots for the presentation. And you can go in and play around with all the transactions in here, all that sort of stuff. It all resets when you log out. So it all goes back into the same format when you log in again. So this is a great tool if you ever have any, you're trying to test anything out and want to see anything. So that's the end of my presentation. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I think you should be able to see the uh, link to be able to download the handouts or the slides on the GoToWebinar screen. And with that, I'll be around for a few more minutes if you want to ask any questions. But other than that, I am all done. So thank you so much for your time. Have a great one.